the Russian invasion media coverage snafu, TAT is going to cover and focus on short-haul markets. Is Thailand a gangster haven? And lastly, celebrity death conspiracies. That's all coming up on today's Good Morning Thailand. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand, sponsored by Coffee Culture as well as Twin Palms Residences Montezor with Tim Newton and Jay.
Hi, and thank you very much for joining us. We get hundreds and hundreds of messages.
Yes.
This one just grabbed my attention. I think I sent one to you too.
Yeah,
we might say that for Thaiger Bites.
That one's for Thaiger Bites.
This one, somebody writing about Natty's program yesterday.
Okay.
Love you, Natty, but I can no longer support the channel or Thailand based on Thai's sympathy to Russia.
Oh.
Well, I mean, can we explain that yesterday the Thai Prime Minister came out, I think it was on Tuesday, and said that Thailand is going to politically remain neutral on the situation.
Yes.
So a lot of people have been expressing this sort of mock outrage, saying that they will never come to Thailand again because of Thai people's support of. This is the Thai Prime Minister made a political announcement. It's got nothing to do with representing what the Thai people feel. They also had a random go at us. Saying that we support Russia. Well, that is equally ridiculous. The fact that we are not taking a stance on this and saying we're just reporting information. I might also say that we're not reporting very much information about it because it's not our scope of work. The coverage of the invasion of Ukraine is being adequately done by a number of very good overseas news outlets, and also social media is absolutely packed full of real footage.
Yes.
But we do have some examples coming up of things that didn't quite go to plan in that regard. But yeah, we are just being news publishers and publishing the facts of what's happening from time to time. But we're not really specialising in covering Ukraine because we've got no one here with any specialty in the matter. We don't have any access to overseas news services. So we'll just do basically a daily roundup.
Facts are what media outlets should be
not opinions,
portraying out there so that the people can
make up
their own minds. However, some Western media outlets have missed the mark. Now, here are a couple of videos that we found that Tim's going to talk about, and have a look at these footages and let us know what you think.
So we're going to show the first one. Norm, this is the first one. We actually don't have a monitor, so we can't see what you're seeing exactly, but we know the footage that's being run. This was apparently some footage shown on Western TV sources, and it's showing, you can show it a couple of times, Norm, whilst we're talking about it. It shows what they said was the start of the invasion of Kiev. Now, in fact, it wasn't. It was actually a Moscow air parade shot at the north of Moscow in Russia 2 years before, but it was uploaded onto social media as the actual start of the real invasion. And of course, once it was on Twitter, the media, the Western media, a lot of them very lazy, decided to then play that as real footage of the invasion. But it was actually from a Russian air show. You'd think the formation gives it away.
Yeah.
I mean, invading planes don't usually fly in a sort of a nice, neat formation like that. They could have had the colours coming, the coloured smoke coming out the back as well. To the second one, and this one was being reported by at least one Australian station as multiple explosions in the cities of Kharkiv and Kiev. So as you can see, pretty wild explosions there. Mm-hmm. But no, in fact it was nothing to do with what was happening in Kiev or Kharkiv. It was a chemical storage facility exploding in the Chinese port of Tianjin in 2015.
Wow.
So it happened 7 years ago. Yeah, it was explosions, we get it. The actual original footage, the person who was shooting that, pointing it out of their window in China, provided some fruity commentary as well, which we wouldn't be able to play on this program. To the third one, this one I like particularly because if we'd like to run this, you can read what the person's saying. This is a Ukrainian driver who's just driving along a road in Ukraine and comes across a Russian convoy, and he just drops in and says, "Hi guys, now how are you? Do you need a lift? Back to Russia?"
Cheeky.
A bit cheeky. Anyway, they all had a bit of a laugh, apparently, and he went on his way. But this one is, again, much more serious. And it shows how the media can be twisted and manipulated. So this next one was reported as saying that these are explosions in Ukraine a day before the actual invasion began. That was how it was portrayed in Western media. So, explosions in Ukraine a day before the invasion began. Well, actually, it was a Siberian gas station that blew up in the city of Novosibirsk back in 2021, last year. So it's a gas explosion. Again, nothing to do with Ukraine. It happened in the far-flung corners of Siberia. So again, that footage was picked up and used by Western media, showing some of the Russian aggression. And so this one is my favourite. Are you ready with this one? This is the final bit of footage. Here we go. And it's portrayed as Russian jets launching their attacks on Ukraine. It was used on Western media on the first day of the invasion into Ukraine. In fact, it's not even real video. It's from a video game called Arma 3. So somebody actually videoed the footage, took a screenshots, and they portrayed that on network TV, saying that was real footage.
What even is that? Like a fountain water blast gun?
Well, that's sort of I don't know what they call it. There's a word for that. And the rapid fire machine gun fire from a jet can look like that on video, which they very well portrayed on the video game Arma 3. So, as we always say, be careful what you're watching, because sometimes it's not exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
So there's some examples of some video being misused, and in the rush to get the story out, there are going to be media who are going to cut some corners and put things on TV or video that aren't actually real.
And unfortunately, people do feel like it's real because
of course
you trust the source, you're watching it, and some people couldn't even tell that that's from a video game.
Well, I had to look at it a few times. Even looking at it just then, I was thinking, hey, that looks pretty real.
Yeah. And like, Kyiv, even though it's not like the world's most populous city, it's not like a tourist destination, so people wouldn't even know if they just played a random video of a bomb explosion from anywhere, like from a video from 2015, people just wouldn't know. So I guess it really lands up on the media people and companies to
be vigilant.
Go do the extra mile to make sure that your sources are
and for you
correct.
To ask questions. Yeah. We should say that we are into day 7 of the invasion of Ukraine, and it appears overnight that Russia has taken at least one of the smaller cities, but they're still advancing on Kiev. That seems to be happening very, very slowly. And whilst all that is going on, the whole Western circling, what do you call in cowboys and westerns movies, when you got the coaches sort of surrounding the Indians? Well, it looks like the whole Western, the might of their sanctions powering down on the Russian economy is really going to have some big downsides for Russia and Russian people.
Yeah.
So will that force Vladimir Putin to step back? It doesn't seem any signs of that, and I'm not sure when you put a bully in a corner how they react.
All right, we've got a question. We've also got Carmel here in the background.
Oh, yes.
Carmel's got a question.
Hello. Yes, Reread said that Tim, Jay, and Henrietta needs to go on the front lines, go to Kyiv and do some real reporting.
Reporting?
Because with how everything could be fake news, it would be more trustworthy if you just went there front line.
Of course it would be, but I mean, we have a tiny audience compared to these big networks, and we don't pretend we have either the resources nor the capacity or the skills to be able to deliver that very important news about what's happening on the ground in Ukraine at the moment. I'm not really inclined to put myself in the face of danger for my job. I'm not a journalist as such, and there are people who are much more qualified to do this sort of activity and have got the resources to provide them with the security they need to be able to visit these areas.
Respect to those journalists who do, because they are those journalists who are like, I need to be there, and they go to their media source, agency, editor, boss, or whatever, and be like, put me out there. I want to go to Kyiv, next flight in. And so when everyone's running away, they're the ones going in because they want to make a difference. So.
About as keen as I've got as I went to a couple of the student protests about 18 months ago when they were protesting about the government and the changes to the constitution. Who's buying Shopee? Aha.
It's Chai.
Chai, what are you buying on Shopee?
How dare you?
It's buying more sex aids.
All right, Kamal's got another comment.
I just wanted to point out that first comment was just a joke, but then PG Santa wanted to ask that all the videos that you just showed now, he's asking what network showed it because he hasn't seen it in Western news, but some people in the comment are saying that they're seeing it in Australian news.
Yes.
So, what network has showed
Three
these
of those
videos?
were on Australian networks, and I'm not actually going to reveal the networks they were shown on because, of course, they were honest mistakes. I mean, none of this has been done in a way that's been malicious or nasty or trying to misportray the story. They are all honest mistakes, and three of them were on Australian networks last Thursday. Another one was on social media. And, of course, the one of the Ukrainian driver offering the Russian convoy a lift out of Russia, back to Russia, that was just on social media.
All right. Let's move on to talking about Thai people fleeing or escaping from Ukraine. Now, the first group of Thai evacuees from Ukraine arrived back in Thailand at 6:25 a.m. on a Thai Airways International flight via Frankfurt, and the second group of 58 people from Poland arrived around noon.
And guess what?
13 of them tested positive for COVID-19.
And you know what? They all had to have somebody, but not themselves. I don't know if it was themselves. They all had to come in under the Thailand pass.
Yes.
Can you believe this? They all came in under the Thailand pass. So they had to go to a quarantine facility.
That's right.
And wait for their test to come back negative.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to have to stay there for another 5 days because they have to have their day 5 test. Oh, I can't believe it.
That's right. Upon arrival at the Suvarnabhumi airport, they will be quarantined at
Good luck.
Bamra Narudura Infectious Diseases Institute in Nonthaburi province.
Which is just out of Bangkok.
Yes.
So, I would have thought somebody would have been there with some flowers saying, welcome back. I'm sure you're grateful to be back with your families and away from the mess that is conflagrating Ukraine at the moment.
Yes.
But no. They're shuffled off to a quarantine facility because they have to go through the Thailand pass.
Well, as of right now, Kun Bunchob Sutha Manaswong, the Labour Permanent Secretary, he said that they're going to be giving a financial aid of 15,000 baht each to the evacuees, as well as a fund to assist these overseas workers and help them find new jobs now that they've come back. So
Good.
at least a little help.
But a lot of them, it was quite surprising the high number of them that did test positive.
And
but I'm sure if there is a way up between whether they're concerned about having COVID or whether they're happy to be back in Thailand from Ukraine, I think I know where their interests would be.
That's right. And I was reading an article today in the morning where like some of these evacuees, they were sharing their stories and they were basically describing the situation of how things are in Ukraine. Some of them are going to Romania, some of them getting on a train and making their way to Kyiv.
Good.
That city,
Going
Kyiv. I apologize. My Russian pronunciation or my Ukrainian pronunciation is not very good, so I apologize for that. I believe the city is Lviv, which is Lviv.
Well, yeah.
That's how you pronounce it.
A lot of people are correcting our pronunciations.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there doesn't appear to be any one pronunciation for a lot of these places. Obviously there is, but everybody's got their own ideas.
Yeah.
So we're not exactly sure how we're meant to say some of these places.
A lot of these evacuees, they took shelter in a subway, and from the subway they got in contact with the Thai embassy, who told them, hey guys, there's buses available, there's subway available, there's a train available that'll take you to Warsaw, and then from Warsaw they were able to get out.
At times like this, these embassies actually do earn their keep.
Yes.
Clearly they are the first port of call. If you are a citizen of a foreign country, you need to get out. the embassy is the place you need to be.
I mean, it takes up quite a mental toll as well. One of the
Sure.
evacuees was saying it took them almost 16 hours to get to safety. So for those 16 hours, you have this feeling that you could be bombed at any time.
You're just running the gauntlet.
Yeah, 16 hours. I don't know. I mean, people have probably faced, longer hours and days to make it to safety, but I can't even imagine what these people must be going through. Okay, let's now talk about Tim, the TAT.
Me? Oh, the TAT.
Yes. Let's move away from the Russia and Ukraine conflict for now and talk about how the TAT is now trying to target short-haul markets.
Well, the problem with the poor old TAT is that they're seeing a lot of their feeder markets just evaporate. China, by far the biggest feeder market of travellers to Thailand pre-COVID, which was around about 25 to 30%, depending on which part of Thailand you're talking about. In places like Chiang Mai, it was up to 30%. Down in places like Phuket, it was down about 25%. But a lot of Chinese tourists coming to Thailand. That market has been almost completely switched off, and they're not expected to return until earliest later this year. Although, of course, what happened in China is somewhat of a mystery, and we'll only find out probably in the weeks before they're allowed to travel freely again. Currently, they're not. But as far as we've now got a situation where the largest number of people who are coming to Thailand post February the 1st,
Yes.
when they restarted Test and Go, were from Russia. Well, now that market has all been switched off as well.
Yes.
Clearly, the number of people coming out of Ukraine, that's going to stop as well.
Those flights coming to Thailand have been stopped now, pretty much.
Sure. I haven't checked this morning's arrivals, but I imagine that the flights are being very, very limited. I think we only had one flight in from Russia yesterday, which was probably going to return, and that was to one of the far east Siberian locations, certainly not central Russia or anywhere near Ukraine anyway.
Well, then again, now the TAT is trying to find new solutions, and one of their solutions is that they aim to attract about 1.5 million tourists from short-haul destinations. Now, let me tell you exactly where they want to try to aim to target these tourists from countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Singapore. They're hoping that these countries can, in the near future, travel without quarantine on their return, and therefore Thailand should gain about 800,000 tourists this year from Southeast Asia alone.
Well, again, they're just coming up with those numbers, and I hope they're right, but if their track record has got anything to do with it, the TAT's projections have been massively inaccurate and wrong all the way through. But great, I'm glad they're looking at some closer markets to be more realistic about the people who may be coming back to Thailand at the moment. We don't really know what's going to happen with this whole East European invasion at the moment, this aggression from Russia. But I don't think it's going to end quickly, sadly, and it's going to have some sort of impact. Certainly, if nothing else, just on avgas prices. The prices of putting fuel into a plane are going to skyrocket, and so it's going to be more expensive to travel. So short-haul travel is going to be a much better option. But people coming like from the US or from Australia or from the UK or parts of Europe, that's going to be a longer flight. And they're going to become more expensive. But yeah, I hope they're right. Good luck, TAT. Hopefully your projections are right. Now, interestingly, they announced a travel bubble yesterday with India.
Yes, that's right. An air travel bubble with India is to become effective as 12 airlines from both countries are ready to operate this month.
They're ready to operate, but currently there's no flights.
Yes,
so that's all going to have to ramp up fairly quickly to get any impact.
I've got more estimates for you. TAT has estimated around 500,000 Indian travelers will visit Thailand this year based on 70% airline capacity.
Okay, so what you'd have to look at first is pre-COVID, say in the year 2019, how many Indian tourists came came to Thailand in that year. I'm suggesting it's probably, I don't know, I'm a completely random guess, and somebody will be looking this up as I speak. I think it would be about that number, about 500,000. So if they're thinking that they're going to get the same number of Indian tourists coming back for the rest of this year, for the 10 months left, that came back in 2019, they'd probably be wrong. But I couldn't find that information quickly just before we came on this morning. And we sit here, by the way, on the fly. I mean, we don't have a research team. We make mistakes.
Yes.
Mel Gibson coming from Australia, for example. So,
well, according to you, half of Hollywood is Australian.
but
if they've been to Australia, they're basically Australian.
If they visited once.
Yeah.
No, I thought, I mean, because he made all the Mad Max films in Australia, his whole early film career was all in Australia. I legitimately thought he was born in Australia. So obviously I'm wrong. That's okay. So yeah, we do sit here on the fly. But I would be interested to know, somebody, Carmel, you might be able to find out from our people that they've got access to a computer right now, how many Indian tourists visited Thailand in 2019.
Well, the TAT is making strong efforts with airlines, in particular Thai Vietjet, to bring these people to Thailand. Okay, a quick comment from Carmel.
Oh no, I just found out you want the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So in 2019, TAT estimated that 1.9 million Indian tourists visited Thailand.
1.9
million. Well, they're being realistic with 500,000.
Oh, okay, 1.9 million. Then they're worth 39,800,000-ish tourists came to Thailand in 2019. What, nearly 2 million Indian tourists in that year? Well, I'm surprised, but obviously that's an important market, so of course they want to chase it.
Let me give you a quick update, Tim. On Wednesday, the TAT signed a letter of intent with Thai Vietjet for 1 year to generate demand in Southeast Asia, especially Vietnam and Cambodia. Now, what they've done is they've got joint promotions for special packages to Thailand from March, with approximately 20,000 packages to be sold in the next 2 to 3 months. And they're hoping for more tourists from these countries.
Okay, now a lot of the narrative coming out of the tourism associations, and this came up at the Thai Tourism Forum on Monday, was this thing that they're calling pent-up demand. And they're saying that there is so much pent-up demand that as soon as the borders open, people are going to be flooding back to Thailand. They're going to be jumping on airplanes. They're going to be booking to go overseas.
Yes.
That may be right.
Thailand.
So the question to you, you've been locked up in Thailand for nearly 2 years.
Yes.
Are you just really bursting at the seams, wanting to get out of Thailand and travel?
No. But that's because that's just a personal thing for me. I'm not that crazy about traveling. I have other hobbies, but people, in my family and my friends would love to travel. They can't wait to travel.
So you believe there's a lot of pent-up demand?
It's an addiction. Traveling is an addiction. Like, people love to travel. It's a great experience. You get to learn new cultures, visit new places, try new foods.
Couldn't agree more, but I'm just not sure if I think the world is just really wanting to travel right now.
I'm not one of those people, but the people who love to travel will travel. That's what I feel.
We've got the topic of today's survey, I think, which we'll do for tomorrow's program. We're going to ask you about the pent-up demand for travel back to Thailand, and whether the late opening of Thailand's borders or the current situation in Ukraine, whether that is going to have an impact on Thailand's reopening. I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts.
All right, as for now, we're going to take a quick break. Once we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about the survey, as well as we're going to be talking about more gangsters found in Thailand, celebrity death conspiracies, and lastly, a Buddhist monk who had a funeral for himself. What's all that about? Find out after the break. And welcome back to Good Morning Thailand. You're watching the show with Tim Newton and Jay. Carmel, you've got a comment to start us off.
I think it's referring to the time you said, like, why you don't really want to travel, like you don't have that pent-up demand to travel. Hans said that it's because you're already in Thailand, and everyone could agree that, like, yes, Thailand's an addiction, like, who would want to leave?
But then again, you want something that you don't have, like, I generally don't have a desire to go to the beach as much as someone from Iceland, for example. I would love to travel to Iceland,
Well, now this fascinates me.
Yeah.
So many Thai people I know say to me, does it snow in Australia? I want to go and see the snow. I love the snow. I said, have you ever actually seen or been in the snow? Because for me, I never want to see snow again in my life.
No, but it's a great experience. You know, you get
the
those
cold.
furry coats and you stay warm. You know, roast marshmallows on the fire. I mean, I might be being unrealistic, but you know, that's my travel experience. I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to Blue Lagoon and sit in those, you know, what are those hot baths and like surrounded by ice.
Yeah, good.
Put that white powder on my face. Look at the northern lights. Oh.
People say to me, when are you coming back to Australia? When are you coming home? You must get sick of waking up every day and it's 30 degrees. I go, no, I don't. I never get sick of that.
Yeah.
And I will never go and live back in poor old Melbourne where the winters are quite bleak. Not as bleak as it gets in a lot of northern European cities. But it does get down to zero.
Yes.
And there is snow when you sort of drive about 2 hours out of Melbourne. And it's fun going to see the snow for about a minute. And then after that, it's cold. Get me back to the warmth. I'm happy here in Thailand. I would like to travel. But I think I've sort of got a plan with number one.
Yes.
That we're going to go to Bali as soon as we can.
That's basically going to Phuket.
Maybe.
Instead of Thai temples, you go for Indonesian temples.
Yeah, well, Hindu temples.
Oh, yes.
Bali is sort of a Hindu island, but yes, a different culture and a different location.
I'd like to go to Bali too. It sounds like a fun place. It sounds like a more party place. It's weird. I don't feel like partying in Phuket, but I would love to go to Bali to party.
Yes, they've got pools there where you can sit and it's hot and they've got snow around and stuff.
Yeah.
In Bali. Oh, it's very popular.
Pretty much. It's called the Bali Lagoon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for 2 Minutes Thailand, where you get to learn about Thai culture and different aspects of Thailand.
Where are we off to today?
With Nan. Excellent question, Tim. Every time I need a refresher course after I've approved Nan's video. We're going to keep this a secret. Ladies and gentlemen, watch the latest video.
Let me tell you about the cute festivals in Thailand. The Monkey Buffet Festival, or Tok Chi Ling. Lopburi is one of the oldest cities in Thailand called Lawo Kingdom. The area was once a jungle where the monkeys lived, but once humans tore down the area and settled in, the monkeys had to adjust to live with people. And that is why there are a lot of monkeys in Lopburi province, especially at San Prakan and Prapang Samyot, which are historical places. It is believed that when people start living in the area, the monkey had to give way to the locals. So the locals, they wanted to thank the monkeys by feeding them large quantities of food yearly. The festival has two purposes. Firstly, to draw tourists to the festival, and secondly, to honor the traditional Lopburi belief that monkeys are disciples of Chao Po Prakan, a spirit which protects the city. The first day of the festival was organized in 1989, and ever since that day, it was said to be on the last Sunday of November, among the ruins of Prapang Samyot Temple. In the morning, there are a parade to celebrate the opening ceremony of the festival. Beautiful Chinese-style banquet tables laden with colorful fruits, vegetables, snacks, and drinks are laid out for the monkeys. There are 4 times the food buffet is prepared: at 10 a.m., 12 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. You can visit the monkeys every time you want, not only during this festival. Go check out Prapang Samyot Lopburi like me. I bet you will get some great pictures.
Monkey business.
That's right. Have you ever been to Lopburi?
No, but I've seen quite a lot of videos from there. They've got monkeys running amok.
That's right.
But they actually do have this annual festival where they honour the monkeys and they offer them food. They don't really need much encouragement, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
They may as well give them Viagra or something, because all they do is they seem to go off and populate.
Well, at the end of the video, the Nan has actually visited Lopburi, and she's got a picture of a monkey on her. So if you are interested, please visit Lopburi. They could use the tourism.
Carmel.
Tedford says, monkeys, no thanks. They will climb upon you and rob you of anything they can. Plus, if they bite you, you could die. No monkeys. Filthy. So I guess that's a no on Lopburi if there are many monkeys there.
You could get disease. But the monkeys, the macaque monkeys, are a little bit naughty.
Yes.
A lot of people lost their phones. I wish I'd lose mine sometimes. I mean, the comments come in, as we say, thousands of comments every day. This guy, Bruce Bickford, probably not his name, none of the people he used their real name. Just have a look at this. He wrote a thesis. Like a 10-page thesis that goes on and on and on and on. And he thinks I'm going to read that? I'm sorry, Bruce, I'm not going to read that. Oh, my God.
All right.
Some people are just so committed. We love your passion.
We love your passion. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick thank you to Coffee Culture. Thank you for sponsoring the show. You can visit coffeeculture.asia for your beautiful mugs, as well as taster kits, where you can buy tasting kits before you indulge and splurge on a bigger
Somebody
pack.
said we assaulted their ears by doing it. Oh, it was so loud I had to rip my headphones off the other day when you shook the coffee things. Fresh coffee.
All right. As well as Twin Palms Residences Montezor.
Now, that's a nice property right on Kamala Beach.
That's right.
In
So,
Phuket.
check them out.
There's a link under the description, Jay.
There is absolutely a link in the description below. All right, moving on, Tim. Now let's talk about gangsters. Now, I'm starting to feel like there's a trend. One of North India's most wanted gangsters has been found in Thailand, and he entered on a fake passport.
Now, I was getting this flash of deja vu.
Yeah.
Was there another Indian gangster that entered Thailand at the end of December last year on a fake passport?
And end of January, yes.
He came in the end of... I
Late
think
January.
The assailants came
yes.
in...
That's right. You're right.
The assailants.
Same, but different.
Yeah. So there seems to be a lot of Indian gangsters in Thailand. So you think this is just the tip of the iceberg?
I don't know. Is Thailand a haven for gangsters who...
About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a big campaign by immigration, and they were going around. What did they call the campaign? It was our favourite big joke. It was the policeman who was behind it, and he used to parade all these overseas ne'er-do-wells who had come in under fake passports or had overstayed their visa. They used to parade them once a week, and there'd be 40, 50, 100 of them, and it was a big campaign to crack down on transnational crime. So they were saying, good guys in, bad guys out. But it looks like over the past year or so, it looks like some more of the bad guys have found their way back in.
That's right. A 20-year-old Virendra Pratap, also known as Kala Rana, reportedly entered Thailand on fake passport and continued to run an Indian crime syndicate from Thailand.
Didn't sound like a very nice person. What was he into?
Included extortion, rackets, and contract killings.
Yeah,
all
nice
this good
guy.
Stuff.
Charming.
Yeah, but...
I'd like to have dinner with him.
Yeah, and he's a suspect in 30 cases of murder, attempted murder, extortion, and criminal intimidation. So, anyways, he's been caught.
And he's been repatriated, deported,
extradited
back to Delhi, extradited, and he's no longer a problem for Thailand. Yeah. And let's hope he gets some relevant justice in India. Carmel.
Tech Symbol says that Thailand is the hub of gangsters.
Well, I don't know. I think it's easy to say that. And stories like this exemplify that there are bad people, but bad people will go to countries where they think they probably won't get caught.
Yes.
But these days, all countries around the world have got much better detection of these people, following them around, their fingerprinting or whatever as they arrive in the country. Do you have to be fingerprinted when you arrive in Thailand now? I think you do.
Do you? Well, they do the facial picture and scan.
So I haven't done an international entry back into Thailand recently, but I think, I'm sure you'll tell us, and please do, that you have to get your finger scanned when you come. I know you do in Malaysia.
Last time I did in January 2020, I didn't have to do my fingerprint,
scan.
but they do they ask you to stand in front of the camera and take a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you go...
Yes, and although these stories are about gangsters, entering Thailand, but they have been caught. They have been caught. criminals.
Well, caught or shot, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Carmel.
So Nicholas asked if like they got in Thailand on the Thailand pass.
Well, assumedly, anybody coming into Thailand over the past, since November last year, has had to come in under the Thailand pass.
Yep.
So, yeah, maybe...
Depends when they arrive. Maybe they've been here for a while.
So, yeah, they could have been here for a while. We don't know.
Yeah.
But, yes, assumedly anybody coming in, criminals or otherwise, have had to use the Thailand pass.
Right. Talking about criminals in Thailand.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is just a conspiracy, but let's talk about Tangmo, who is a prominent Thai celebrity.
Was,
unfortunately, recently died after falling off a speedboat and drowning.
Or
Now,
did she?
Or did she? Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned this yesterday, this news has been dominating Thai media. So I'd just like to give a quick update. Now, there were 5 other people on the speedboat with her. All 5 people on the speedboat with the TV actress Anita Tangmo, when she fell overboard last Thursday, will face charges, possible charges of negligence leading to death and giving false statements to the police, according to a police source. That's right.
There's been very few facts coming out over the past couple of days. They're slowly leaking out as the investigation continues.
And the reason I don't want to give more information is because as of right now, it's a lot of speculation, a lot of conspiracy theories that everyone's involved. Like the entire Thailand, it feels, is involved. Everyone has their own opinion. So we're waiting for facts to come out so that we can give you those facts.
We've been doing sort of daily updates on this particular case because a lot of you are also interested in this case. But there's been a lot of reenactments and people showing that it's hard to sit on the back of a perch on the back of one of these speedboats if you want to relieve yourself. I can't see a pretty young lady like this perching herself on the back when obviously the people on the boat have got cameras.
All right.
I don't know. Very undignified.
Very undignified.
Anyway, she's
well, you
no
gotta
longer
go.
with
You
us.
gotta go.
Well, yeah, and they were saying the toilet on the boat had broken. And that's why she did it off the back. I'd rather use a broken toilet than try and perch on the back of a speedboat.
Yes. Well, as of right now, those suspects are being reinterrogated, and they're actually being told to reenact some scenes to find out if there are some discrepancies within their stories.
Yeah, we'll certainly hear a lot more about it, and wait for about 2 years. There'll be probably 2 or 3 movies. Thais love drama.
All right. Karma, any comment? Oh no. Did you raise your hand?
Oh no,
She's playing
no
with her
comment.
ear.
I was just.
Okay, she's playing with her ear. I
Oh,
apologize.
but hence.
She's got all these piercings, and she sort of has to push
No.
them out of place so she can hear it.
You'd think an old lady wouldn't have piercings.
I've
but,
never seen
people have changed.
Covered in tats and
Yeah.
piercings
It's
all over.
2022. But anyways, Hans did comment that his wife is really obsessed with this story. Now, why do you think Thais love
There's a question for you,
cannot
Jay.
stop
Why-
talking about this?
Good one, Carmel. So there you are. Jay, you're the only half Thai person here.
Okay.
When I say half Thai, you've lived here most of your life.
Yeah.
Why are Thai people obsessed with celebrities and celebrity deaths?
Well, not just celebrity, it's just drama in general. It's a cultural thing. Like whether it's Facebook or Line or even the TV soap operas, it's always about some conspiracy. There's always a good guy, there's a bad guy, there's a murder, ghost movies, thrillers. It's what excites us. It's exciting. That's the only, that's what, unfortunately or fortunately, it excites people, and people like to speculate and get in on it and have their own opinion.
The Thai television and film industry are prolific, in a huge, huge way.
Yeah.
The amount of output from Thailand for Thai language dramas and stuff is enormous. And of course, a lot of it gets consumed in other Asian countries with subtitles, because Thailand's the only country in the world that speaks Thai. But the amount of stuff they put out is astonishing. And there's a new film every week. If you go to the cinemas, a new Thai movie every single week. And they're invariably about dramas, they're period dramas, they've got horror stories, there's the sort of comedy horrors.
Slapstick comedy.
So, which has always got the over-the-top K character as well. Just hilarious. And I've gone to see some of these movies, and a lot of them are very, very good, well made, great production values.
Oh yeah, amazing production value.
Yeah. So kudos to the Thai film industry, but they are obsessed with drama and horror.
Especially the series and the soap operas. We have a lot of soap operas.
Yeah.
Carmel.
Two things. First one is we have a new member, Oliver 8.
Oliver
So welcoming them
Gate.
to Oliver 8.
Oliver
and then
8.
the number 8.
Oliver 8. Well, Oliver, thank you for being a Thaiger member. We appreciate your support.
And what's your form of saying thank you?
Marishka Hargate.
Okay, the second one
Thank you,
is someone named Kunjay is asking both of you, do you think the boat buddies conspired to cover up the truth about what happened to Tangmo?
Ooh, speculation.
Well, I mean, look, it appears that there has been some contact between the people after the event, perhaps to try and collaborate some sort of alibi, but the police are investigating at the moment, so anything that we say beyond what we've already passed on and the facts we know would just be pure speculation.
Yes.
But obviously something odd has happened. So many questions surrounding this particular event. One of them was sort of uncovered by our own resident sleuth here, Jordan. Something about the timestamp on one of the photos being 9:15 and showing that the lights were on the Rama 8 bridge behind. But the thought is that the lights actually go off on the bridge at 9 o'clock. So how could that timestamp be real? There's plenty of other comments that are being circulated about various facts.
We'll keep you updated on that story on thethaiger.com. Lastly, Tim, we're going to be talking about a Thai Buddhist monk who hosted a funeral for himself as a lesson of death.
Okay, you better explain this.
Well, a Buddhist monk made headlines all over Thailand as he invited residents in the northern province of Phittanulok to a funeral.
Which is in central northern Thailand?
Not Phittanulok, Phittanulok.
Oh, I thought it's the same place. No.
Most probably is. I think it just might be a typo. I think it's Phittanulok.
I think it is too, which is in central northern Thailand.
Yes. Yes, he invited people to a funeral, to his own funeral. And the abbot at a local temple, he's alive and he's well, he's doing fine. But he wanted the ceremony to send a message to his followers that death is normal and a part of life.
Was he sending a message to the afterlife or to the current life?
No, to the current life. That death is normal and it's just a part of life. Which I personally thought it was a strange, because if you've been around for the last 2 years, death has been around Thailand for, with all the COVID-19 deaths. I don't think I need a reminder that, death is a part of life. But anyways, the funeral at Potian Temple followed traditional Thai Buddhist practices. There was a coffin made. They made, I believe, the body out of a banana tree. And then at the local...
Banana tree?
That's right. And 55 monks did Buddhist chants and prayers as the coffin was sent to the crematory.
And there was the one last week when they made a body out of straw, named it COVID-19 Omicron.
Yes.
And burnt it, hoping that the evil spirits of Omicron would go away.
The monks are doing their part.
Hasn't appeared to have worked very well.
The monks are doing their part.
Yeah,
and then, like in a traditional funeral, you'd have your name and your date before when they cremated, and the monk had his own, and he put the year 2048, which means he expects to die at the age of 80.
Okay.
It's a decent life. But anyways, and the
there
people...
is a sort of an attitude around Thailand.
Yeah.
A fairly sabai attitude towards death. It's sort of a normalisation. In Western cultures, it's nothing like that. But here in Thailand, death is just part of the process of life, and most Thais are brought up to believe that they're going to come back in some sort of other form. They all believe in reincarnation as Buddhists.
Yes, I don't agree with some of the practices that actually happen in some of the funerals, because as some of them last 5 days, people come, they pay their respects, and then oftentimes they'll have tents with like chairs and tables, and then the old uncles and stuff. I've seen this in my friends' funerals. Not my friends' funerals, sorry, apologies. Some of the old family members of my friends' families. I went to the funeral, and then, after you've paid your respects, you kind of come to these tables, sit down, and there's some people gambling, there's some people just drinking the night away, and it's very common practice to which I find that a little strange.
Well, yeah, I mean, Western funerals tend to be, 4 or 5 days after the passing of the person. There's a place and a location organised. It could be a church. Service is held. The body is buried or cremated, and it's sort of all over. But in Thailand, they string it out for 4, 5, 6 days, the whole funeral process. And as you said, sometimes it can end up as a bit of an informal social, and sometimes take on almost a party atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, the ceremony and
Sure.
where they keep the body, that part I understand. The other parts, what people are actually doing outside of the room, is just slightly strange. But anyways,
They're
it's
getting
a cultural
together and they're
difference.
reflecting on their friend's life.
Yeah, might as well enjoy the
They
moment.
might have been a
Yeah,
good gambler.
They're celebrating the life, who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, the people who attended this funeral that the Buddhist monk held at the temple, they actually each got 5 kilograms of rice as a gift. So I'm guessing there must have been a good turnout.
I always feel if I am flying on an aeroplane, I don't want the pilot to be Buddhist. I don't want them to not have a fear of death. If they're in an urgent situation, I don't want them to be thinking, doesn't matter, I'm going to come back as an ox or something.
And my last comment regarding this story is that...
Well, can I just finish by saying,
okay.
if I want somebody flying my plane, I want an atheist. I want somebody who fears death and is going to do everything they can to keep that plane in the sky. Over to you.
All right. The last comment, the residents, after they got their 5 kilograms of rice as a gift, was that they look forward to buying lottery tickets.
Okay.
With numbers matching the abbot's age.
Oh dear, these people got a lot of time on their hands. So he held his own funeral.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to take a quick break. We've been running for 46 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
So quick break, we'll be back right after this. Yeah. Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand with Tim Newton and Jay. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we've been running for about 46, 47 minutes, so we are only going to take 3 questions before we leave.
Why, unfortunately, Jay?
Because we've got other things to do.
You're trying to deny our keen viewers from the opportunity to watch us.
No, well, they wouldn't be able to watch the other shows we produce.
Soak in the ambience of this shirt.
And moving along quickly, Carmel, any questions?
Yes, first we should welcome Joseph Trakey into the Tiger legend.
Joseph, you are a legend. And what are you going to say, Jay?
Mariska Hargitay, Joseph. Or Joseph.
Okay, so first comment, ANRV2 said that neutrality doesn't exist anymore. If you don't support Ukraine, then you support Russia. Time to boycott Thailand.
That is just the load of rubbish. If you are neutral, if you're not saying I'm going to support this or that, you are actually saying I don't support one or the other. You're not automatically backing Russia. And when we're talking about neutrality as a news source, we're saying that we're just going to present the facts as they happen. We're not going to say this is good or this is bad. We're just saying this is what's happening. And a country being neutral is not automatically supporting Russia. That contention is rubbish. So stop saying it.
All right, next question.
Next comment, PT Tan said that this is not the peak period for travelers to Thailand, so the anticipated number of travelers rushing to Thailand just because it has relaxed its entry requirements isn't realistic.
You know, it's an interesting thought. I mean, obviously things like peak times and the peak seasons, and as far as I think you can throw most of it out the window at the moment. Obviously there are going to be times of the year where people are more inclined to holiday than others, but really a lot of those habits are going to be in confusion. I mean, I think if the borders suddenly open without some of the Thailand pass restrictions, a lot of people will come. Regardless of what season it is. And if this pent-up demand is real, no matter what time of the year it is, people will probably try and come.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to end the show there as we've run a bit too far into it.
Can I talk about the painting?
Yes, quickly you can mention the painting.
If you'd like one of our Thaiger paintings, you can buy these. Hand-signed even by Jay with his X. And
No, people are going to expect an X. I don't actually sign an X. Now I'm going to have to.
now you're going to write, what is it? Mahurga's.
Marishka Hargate.
The shirt
But you
as
can
well.
buy these hand-signed.
Someone's interested in the shirt as well. They want to know where to buy it.
All these things, including our Thaiger mugs, you can buy at thethaiger.com/shop. We've got our merchandise there as well as the new Vanderbilt luxury range.
Yes. It is a print. It's not a real painting, Muhammad Wang, but it's a great token of the Thaiger.
Well, it's made from this.
As I stand here and look at Tim Newton bringing on the famous Thaiger painting, it says...
That's the original painting.
And this is why we don't keep it behind, because it's huge. Huge.
So it's a copy of that.
All right, and that's it. And with that, I'm going to decide to end the episode, as nothing good happens after 45 minutes. Sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank Tim Newton.
Thank you.
Carmel in the background, Anum
Yes.
with the buttons. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please click the like button if you've enjoyed the show. And we appreciate you. We hope you have a good Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow for Lumberjack Fridays.